Welcome into the Ringerverse. This is, of course, the Ringers Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinker of things. Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions. He's got answers. Old man Van, he of the receding resurgent hairline, Coke, Baby Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. We'll be right back after this. Okay, follow us on socials at the Midnight Boys Pod on Insta and TikTok, at Ringerverse on Insta, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of Art episode on youtube.com/@Ringerverse and also on Spotify. Jomi, what's up?
We were trying to take a picture last night. You know, people like to get excited when they see we're about to cover a movie that we're excited about, and you didn't want to take the picture.
I'm getting sick of it.
It helps the pod.
Yeah, wait, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. How about this? Provide me a shred of evidence.
Well, if the Wi-Fi worked in this
Provide me a shred. No. It helps the socials. Provide me a shred of evidence that it helps the pod.
People see that we're either at a place or we're covering a thing.
They like to see us together.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but they go, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to listen to this pod." That they are either like
the main.
And
I just want to shout out. I will just say this. Shout out Sony. Dog, the Ringer runs deep. And I don't know what was happening at that screening. It's the craziest screening I've ever been to.
Craziest screening we've ever been to. I think we had too many people there. Yeah, I think next time we should probably trim that a little bit. It's like it was just like we
rolled deep. Here's the thing, motherfuckers was getting pissed. They was like, "Yo, they cutting." I'm like, "Hey, yo, if you not gonna press me on it, I'm gonna let my Ringer colleagues through."
Mm-hmm. 19 is probably too many.
And who got left out of our row?
What you mean who got left out?
We bought everybody. Remember, you guys, people got there early. They reserved a row for the Ringer people. Shout out to those folks. And there were 18 people in our theater, and one person wasn't in our theater.
I can't remember who you're talking about.
Sean.
Oh, yeah, but he got assigned a different thing, though. He got assigned, they had two theaters, one, and then they had an overflow theater. I think he got assigned the wrong thing. The only reason it's not like he got left out because he got.
It's just like we give out one theater, and then when that's filled,
they were checking your ticket. Normally, when you go to these screenings, you go in there. I'm just for you guys. Mm-hmm. Like you go in there, and when you go in, no one checks your ticket. They might look at it. But if you're there for the screening,
they check it one time.
Yeah, one time.
They kept being like, "Take it out. You got your." I was like, "Damn, bro."
Yeah,
this time
they didn't want no Steve Lacy shit happening.
we were
It's over.
We were all together, but there were two different theaters. So being that there were two different theaters, Sean got sent to a different theater. I think Voss was in that theater too, because I didn't see him in our theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really? I think Voss was in that one.
Voss was in that one as well. So I think they had a different experience, like a different experience.
Nah, everybody brought the +1. Usually some people like, I don't need the +1. I was like, yeah, everybody
cashed in the +1.
Everybody cashed in the +1.
Yeah. But it was a crazy experience. Disclosure Day was crazy. This was crazier. I can't think of a screening that I've been to. Maybe No Way Home. No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Pretty
No Way Home was that. But even the Odyssey was nothing like this.
Not even close.
Not even close.
No, the Odyssey wasn't even close.
Okay.
All right, program reminders. All right, stay tapped in to Talk the Thrones every Sunday. Every Monday, the Midnight Boys give you their House of the Dragon reactions. Today, the Midnight Boys give you their instant reactions, obviously, to Spider-Man Brand New Day. Long time coming. Highly anticipated sequel to 2021's
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Oof.
So, you guys, there's a lot riding on this movie. We'll talk about how well the movie wrote it. Now, before we do any of that, we have to let you know we're going to spoil a lot of stuff. This is a spoiler review. This is not a non-spoiler review. I've seen those. I've seen people review movies with no spoilers. It is a talent.
This is hard to spoil this movie without spoilers.
It really is.
It is. You got to spoil some stuff. So, Steve, give them the spoiler warning. We're getting ready to talk about Spider-Man. You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming. All right. To begin our reactions, though, I have to put you in the know. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. Recap done by Chuck. It's called The Midnight Manifest. Chuck, take it away.
All right, these are Midnight Manifest for Spider-Man Brand New Day, directed by Daniel Destin Cretton, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, John Bernthal, Mark Ruffalo, Tremel Tillman. I'm sorry, y'all, this is a 2.5-hour movie. This will be among the longer manifests. 4 years after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange's spell is still in effect. The world and Peter Parker's friends don't remember that he's Spider-Man. MJ and Ned have graduated MIT, and Peter's only friend is the Punisher, which tells you everything you need to know about his social life. Overworked, isolated, and grieving the death of Aunt May, Peter fully commits to being Spider-Man 24/7, but after seeing MJ and Ned move on without him, Peter's spider mutation starts to go haywire. With the help of Bruce Banner, Peter develops a chip that neutralizes out-of-control organic web shooters and mounting rage. Unfortunately, trouble comes Peter's way when a mysterious character begins mind-controlling Spidey's villains and peers. Spidey, along with the help of Punisher, Yelena Belova, Damage Control, and the police, uncover a new telepath roaming the city. Spoiler alert, it's Jean Grey. Jean goes after Spidey and MJ, forcing Peter to confront the feelings and powers he's trying to suppress, along with the ethical implications of mind-wiping MJ and the rest of the world. Jean mind controls the Hulk and Punisher before she's taken down by the Wallcrawler, but Peter's moral Spidey sense tingles, and he realizes that Bill Metzger, the leader of Damage Control, is behind everything. Bill kidnapped Jean's sister to experiment on her because she also had telepathic powers, and he wanted to use those for evil. Spider-Man teams with Punisher to save Jean from imprisonment by Damage Control, but in the process, almost dies from a bullet fired by Frank. Peter wakes up to a city that celebrates their favorite son. Jean rides off to upstate New York and most likely Westchester, and Peter realizes he needs friends like Ned. That has been your Midnight Manifest for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So maybe we do this one a little differently. Before we get into our instant reactions, do we kind of just want to talk about the story? Like
A little bit.
And
Maybe.
like how, because there's a lot of movie here.
A lot of movie. Long movie. Long movie moves pretty quickly. Almost a movie in 3 different parts.
Yeah.
Checking back in with Spider-Man as a solo superhero, what a lot of people have been asking from the character. Then you get into the main kind of part of Spider-Man getting back with Ned, and you see, Spider-Man's mutation, his secondary mutation that we talk about, is really just a manifestation of his grief and his loneliness. Then that part of the movie takes hold. And then once Jean is released as Jean, or revealed as Jean, the moment the name Jean Grey is said in the movie, it becomes almost like a Jean Grey origin story as well as a Spider-Man story. So like really 3 different parts, depending on where you guys want to start and like how you guys think even that structure worked.
Well, what I found interesting about this is that the first 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies is a high school trilogy. And I was like, okay, is this going to be him going to Empire State? Is this going to be a college movie? And very, very quickly, they're like 4 years have passed. So they age Peter up. And this is almost a reboot in a lot of ways. It's not Batman Begins level, but it is Tom Holland fully transitioning into adulthood, being Spider-Man. I think what they did brilliantly is like the first couple minutes of the movie are almost a montage of giving Tom Holland a rogues gallery. We see Boomerang, we see Tarantula, we see Scorpion. He's working with the police. He is essentially, they are making Tom Holland's like the Iron Man now. It very much felt like, oh, you are the center of the MCU.
It's weird because the de facto name of this movie is We're Starting Over. And the starting point of this movie, while complicated and to the uninitiated, or even like, hey, it's been a minute since I checked in on Spider-Man, it can be pretty confusing. But to know that this is essentially like 2 movies smashed together with the Jean Grey origin story and Peter more so resetting the clock on what it means for him to be Spider-Man and evolving into this other version of himself. I think the balance, while at times a little wonky, is ultimately really, really good. I think this is the best Spider-Man movie that Tom has starred in that I've liked the most. And I can really see his passion for doing this character on screen the most in this.
I think the strength of the movie is that, like, to you guys' points, there's a lot of stuff going on with Jean Grey. Like, this is a Jean Grey origin story movie. This is also a Spider-Man movie. They've got all these villains and all these themes and motifs with Spider-Man's relationship with Aunt May and Ned and MJ. But the movie still works. And so, like, a credit to Daniel Destin and Tom Holland, everybody behind this movie, because it easily could have been overstuffed. It easily could have left thought threads in the plot loose. But ultimately, everybody who was in the movie had a reason of being there. It wasn't just, oh, look, that guy's there. Look, this person's there. They all served a purpose to the story and to the plot. And that's like really impressive.
Do you guys feel like they rebooted the character in this movie?
I definitely do. And I'm just going to say, not only is this my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, I think Tom Holland killed it. Because this was a moment where you've made fun of Tom Holland in the past for being Spider-Boy.
So have you.
All right, yeah. I've thrown a little, but this movie, I do feel like not only rebooted like Peter Parker, but Tom Holland, where it's like, okay, not only are you a young adult, but the themes of grief and how they use the other storyline of him mutating out of control and him trying to suppress this literally with like a chip, but also just emotionally. There was something in this movie that I thought was just more adult and so needed. I thought Tom Holland, you're almost seeing him become a movie star. Yes, he was a movie star before, but you are seeing him do more in this movie. To me, he's the best part of the movie. Everything revolves around him, and he just has this charisma, and he always had it, but I think there's a difference between teenage charisma and like, I'm a 30-year-old man, I just did the Odyssey. I kind of know, he's looking at Matt Damon, I kind of know what it takes to hold the center of the screen. I don't need Tony Stark anymore.
I think part of that is like obviously coming off the Odyssey, right? You know, you get a little bump doing that, being like not being the man on that set, but obviously like you're up with Matt Damon, you're up with Anne Hathaway, you're up with Robert Pattinson. I'm sure there's some juice you find after that, right? The second part is that normally in those like, so they always like Iron Man in the first one, Nick Fury in the second one, and Doctor Strange in the third one.
Yeah,
he the little homie, right? In this movie, he's the big like Frank is like the big homie. But he's like, yo, Frank, man,
I saved your life.
Dog, you know what I'm saying? Like that part is different.
This is the first time they tried it. This is the first time they even tried it. In any of the other Spider-Man movies, they didn't even try to make a movie that was from his perspective. They made a movie where he was immersed into a world where a lot of things were happening around him, and he had to figure out a way through them. This is the first Spider-Man forward film that they made. Like every other movie is, he's away with his classmates in Europe and something's going wrong. And Fury's telling him what to do. And Mysterio's telling him what to do. And can he use his genius and stuff to keep his head above water? He doesn't know what's going on in the movie until the end. In the first one, he's coming to terms with all of these new powers and the fact that he had helped Captain America. Is he Avenger? Is he not an Avenger? Blah, 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 blah. And then in the third one, once again, he's overwhelmed, but there are two older Spider-Men that are helping him through it. This is the first one that is looking at his character, putting his character central, and making everything downstream of that. So his sort of pain triggers the mutation. We see him alone figuring stuff out, doing the whole deal. This is the first Spider-Man movie that they made. And there was no way that the character could have been the portrayal that we wanted before because the story didn't dictate that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they got to this point, and then like that is what they did. This movie, even at the end of it, he figures out. At the end of the film, she says, "Can I jump into your head?" And he says, "Go ahead." He allows Jean Grey to come into his mind because he knows that he can talk to her there. He can get through to her there. He actually brings her through all the stuff that he's been through. Like his life experience is the thing that gets him through to the end of this story. And they just didn't try that before.
I mean, I mean this as a compliment. What this movie reminded me of is two things. First, I think a lot of times when people were talking about Superman, James Gunn's Superman, they were talking about how much it reminded them of the comics. And I think this was the first Tom Holland movie and the first Spider-Man movie, live action really, that felt like rendering Spider-Man's world, where it's like, they did something genius with all of the villains where I'm like, oh, you are following Spider-Man through a really tough week. And that's what it feels like reading like 6 issues of an arc where you're like, he's fighting this villain. He has these allies. Punisher's popping in, and I was like, oh, this is fascinating. And it also reminded me of playing like Spider-Man 2, the PlayStation games.
Oh, dude,
Oh, yeah.
In the greatest way
yeah.
possible, where you're like, oh, I feel like Spider-Man from the way they're shooting, how he's swinging, how he's fighting, where it's like, oh shit, I gotta go stop this bank robbery. Oh, fucking Punisher's trying to help. And it was just such a kinetic
The tank
film.
sequence is straight out of the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tank sequence, there's a part in the movie where a tank is barreling towards damage control. Spider-Man has to stop this tank right before it gets there. And that is straight out of the video game, the way you gotta take the turret off the tank and do all of that stuff. Like the action was phenomenal in the movie and very true to the character. Maybe the truest action scenes that we've seen to the Spider-Man character of any time Spider-Man's been on screen.
Even aesthetically, I feel like, shout out to the director, Daniel Everybody, cinematography. This one also felt different. I feel like the first 3 Holland films, rightfully so, they wanted to be like The Breakfast Club. It's very nostalgic. It's very warm. It's very bright colors. And this, when you're watching the movie, it's a little overcast, where you're like, you are going through this journey of grief and depression. And it was interesting where they invert the relationship, where it's like, okay, now Spider-Man is the Tony Stark to Jean Grey's Spider-Man. And I was like, I think we'll talk about the mutants and the X-Men, what we felt about that reveal and how it was handled. But I did feel like it was very interesting to see Tom Holland now be in the role where he's trying to get a teenager to realize something about herself. And I thought that worked beautifully.
I thought, because like, I mean, we'll talk again about like maybe like some notes or some nitpicks later. And at first, I was like, the third act, I was like, I liked it like emotionally, but I wanted some like more action, this and that. But after sleeping on it, the fact that like Aunt May is this like, beacon in Peter's life that he can now use. Again, they thread that scene with her trying to get into his head and Aunt May in the room, and we see like she tries, she sees a vision, and it cuts back, and then we see it again, and before he mutates, and right before she's about to say something important, it cuts off, and then we see the full scene, but instead of Peter being there, it's Jean, and we're like, yo, this is what Spider-Man is all about. It's Peter Parker, after everything he's been through, can still use everything that happened to him with Aunt May, with MJ and Ned, having all that pain and being like, yo, I've been where you've been. I've sat in that same seat. We don't have to live like this. We can do better things. We can choose a better path. I'm like, yo,
yeah,
that's great.
Let's talk about Jean Grey. Let's just get there right now.
Yeah.
So there are points in the movie, going into this film, you feel like you know that Jean Grey is in the movie. There's been so much talk about it. Oh, is it Firestars, whatever? We knew that it was Jean Grey. However, there were points at the movie where I was like, that cannot be Jean Grey. Because
yeah.
like there's a point in the movie where she's jumping from body to body using her telepathic ability. And then there's a point where she jumps into somebody and then a cab hits the person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at this point, okay, so we're setting Jean Grey up as just like a sinister killer of innocence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that actually was smart storycraft because it threw me off the trail of that actually being her. I thought for a split second it might not be. Then they do the reveal. It is Jean Grey. She is the first, I guess, X-Man that we've seen in the MCU in this way. We are officially in it. How you guys feel like they handled it?
So I think I'll attack this from 2 points. I think Sadie Sink is a perfect Jean Grey. I thought her performance was amazing. To your point, I actually did like the reveal that, no, we're staying with this. This is Jean Grey. She's doing all this horrific shit. But I think everything that her sister went through and I was like, okay, I buy this. After I slept on it, I was a little bit like, yo, you have to move a lot of pieces to make this make sense because they don't reveal Professor X. The only other mutant in this movie is her sister, Sarah, and I might be wrong. I don't know if there's any like actual comic book. Like Jean Grey has siblings in the comics, but to reveal that her origin story is essentially like her and her sister run away from their parents, they're in foster care, and that Tremel Tillman's character, who's heading up damage control, basically kidnapped Sarah, who was teaching Jean to use her telepathy. I didn't care in the moment, but when I was trying to do the math a little bit, I was like, I like the end of this, but how you got there is a little bit messy.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
No, it is. I think it stumbled a bit because of the fact that, like, once Jean is captured by damage control, it kind of then becomes her show for about a good 20 minutes, because then she's captured and then she has to, like, realize, like, the extent of her power and everything. But the drip feeding of the mythology of, like, the central conflict that is the X-Men, of, like, being self-accepting and not suppressing things about yourself while Peter is actively doing that to himself, is setting up the philosophy between Professor X and Magneto so beautifully. Like, I see the central conflict that mutants will have forever now in this small part of this movie. And I'm like, this is brilliant, but I think it's just a tad clunky, just a little bit.
So, two things. Number one, damage control is another important part of that, because damage control is experimenting on mutants. Right. And so, being that damage control is experimenting on mutants, Jean Grey's first experience with organized human action surrounding mutant kind will be the people that killed her sister and also experimented on her and kidnapped her. Right. And then triggered this next mutation that she had. So that in and of itself will set up, kind of like you guys are talking about, the distrust and the entire tension between Magneto's way and Xavier's way that will probably ground the mutant saga in the MCU. So that was, like, awesome writing. The Jean Grey thing, as far as it being clunky, I've heard a lot of people say this. I'm trying to understand the criticism or the note. I'll tell you why. Like, they changed her origin in this, and they also changed Spider-Man's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it all depends on where it goes. Like, they changed. Like, this is a Spider-Man with no Uncle Ben.
No, yeah.
Right. So, like, we got 3 Spider-Man movies before the seminal moment of Spider-Man's creation happens. With great power comes great responsibility, and then he loses a parent figure,
right?
Which then changes Spider-Man. So while I understand that, like, there's a way that people think that Jean Grey or anyone should be introduced, like the way Black Panther was introduced, a grown Black Panther that already had the mantle with his father. We see that, like, we don't see Black Panther, like, learning. There's no Black Panther origin story in our version of Black Panther. There's no origin story. Like, he's Black Panther, and we watch what happens to him. He's already basically fully formed, not as the king of Wakanda, right? I think the story of Black Panther is actually his origin as a Black man more than anything. But I think he wasn't Black at the beginning of that movie, and then he was Black at the end. I legitimately think that. But yeah, so with this, they're doing stuff that hasn't been done before, but Marvel's kind of always done that.
It's less that. The thing that it was like, when I was like, I woke up today and I was like, oh, what was it about that felt clunky? I think it's more so that the movie never actually explains mutants. I don't even think they use really the word.
They don't.
So you're left being like, okay, Jean's not the first mutant. Technically, we've seen Miss Marvel, but at this point, like, the Marvel family has kind of been jettisoned from the MCU. So you're kind of wondering, you're like, oh, wait, did the mutants just pop up? Was there something that happened? Like, has any of these, whether Shield's not around, but damage control, have they been like, oh, there's more metahumans popping up around the world?
Yeah.
What's happening? It never really
explores that.
That. So you're kind of like, I'm always wondering, I'm like, wait, does Jean know that she's a mutant? Does she know? She knows that she's different, but does she know that there's other mutants out there?
You feel like this is the movie for that?
Well, that's the thing. It's not supposed to be, but they dip so far, like, not too far, but far enough to where you're like, well, in order for this to truly make sense, we have to go farther into this and pull this thread.
What do you mean?
But like, to understand what, like, the actual plight that Jean is gonna be going on. And after this, like, you had to stop the movie and give us a whole scene with her sister and to explain why she's doing what she's doing.
If damage control has other mutants.
Yeah. And like, that idea is great, but it starts to take up a little bit too much oxygen in the transition of the second to third act.
I mean, look,
And I'm not upset that they changed.
Well,
things.
to me, there's a couple of things. Number one, like when Aunt May is talking to Peter, she sit down, she goes, "Before you got these powers."
Mhm.
Number one, we know how Peter got powers.
Of course.
It's never shown in any of these movies.
Mhm.
They haven't shown it, right? They expect you to know that he was bitten by a radioactive spider. They never show any of that stuff, right? So as far as the MCU doing this, like we live in a world with powered beings.
Mhm.
Like there are powered beings in this world, and if you have powers, I'll put you like this. So the X-Men, the way that they get their powers is fundamental to the story.
Yeah.
Because they are different types of human beings, right? They're different types of human beings that not just people that have happened upon powers. They're different types of human beings. And that different race of human beings is specifically like discriminated against. So that matters. I don't think the Spider-Man movie is the place to get into that.
Right.
Because I think, number one, it bloats it too much. We live in a world with powered people. She has powers. She's a telepath. Scarlet Witch has powers. Different people have powers. There are people that have powers in the fucking shit. And then the X-Men movie will be the place where they kind of explore, or maybe a different movie, what a mutant is and all of that stuff. I just don't know if this story had time for that.
Yeah, does she know she's even a mutant? Right? Like
she does know.
I mean, she's got it.
She said, like, remember when they talk about her mother?
Right. And then like when they got the powers.
And then, like when they got the powers, they left. I don't know if she knows what a mutant is.
That's what I'm saying.
But she knows that powers just like spontaneously developed in her.
Right. But there's like, I guess it kind of is to your point, there's no bigger universe for like the mutants in this movie. It's just her and her sister. And I think that's fine. Kevin Feige's talked about it, like after Secret Wars, streamlining the universe. I think this is just a taste. It's like, yo, guys, we got the X-Men, they're here. And then once we, collapse all the universes into one main streamlined universe, then we can see like the Jean Grey and all the other X-Men characters that we know.
I think the thing that does work about the Jean Grey reveal is that this is, and it's funny, I'm like, Tom Holland's making a movie about puberty when he's fucking 30. But this is like the central play of the X-Men, not the central, but one of the plights to Van's point is that these are powered beings that get their powers at 13 or when they hit puberty.
Right.
So I do think actually it is very smart to show that Spider-Man, like the symbolism is fucking right there with the organic web shooters.
Yeah.
Basically now being an ally through Jean Grey of kids who the minute they become teenagers have power and now need to be taught the great responsibility. And once again, like we were talking about Kerm. Kerm was there at the show. Kerm is a huge X-Men fan. Them diverting from the source material like this actually did not bother me that much. It was more so I just had questions of, okay, in the MCU now, does the world know that teens are starting to get powers? Because that to me is interesting, where it's like, Captain America is one thing. Thor and Iron Man, all these people are one thing. A bunch of 13, 14, 15-year-olds walking around being able to, like, Jean in this movie essentially kind of handicaps a whole borough of Manhattan when she gets angry. That to me is what I want.
They still nerfed her.
I'll tell you,
they still nerfed her to me. Like I never heard of no 33-foot barrier. I see, like, you know what I'm saying? But she's still learning how to use her powers. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the 33-foot thing, I think they used that because they didn't even give her telekinesis for most of the movie, and I'm like, yeah, if this was the real Jean Grey, she'd be piecing.
Yeah, she was.
Obviously, but I like that though because she's an Omega level telepath, not an Omega level like telekinesis user.
Yeah,
right. And so like her like discovering the telepathy first and being like not OP, but like being like crazy with that, and then through the anger of finding out her sister was gone, discovering the telekinesis, I was like, oh, that's smart filmmaking.
What I enjoyed about the story as well is that this story in not the most subtle way interrogates what happened in No Way Home, which is what happens when one human, aka Spider-Man, mind wipes the entire world. And there's this moment where Jean Grey goes into the mind of MJ, kisses Peter, and Peter kind of has to be like, hey, sorry, I know you didn't remember that. I thought you were MJ. And you're getting the story of like Jean is almost essentially doing what Peter did in the last movie, which she is going into people's minds without their knowledge and without their permission, because she thinks like the ends justify the means. And to me, that was a very smart way to connect these characters of Spider-Man realizing what he did, not only to the world, but to MJ and Ned specifically, robbed them of something that was so important to their lives.
But he did ask him, he did tell them he had to do it.
Right. And they did, like at the end of No Way Home, they did say, yes, we got to do it.
Yeah, he did tell them that he had to do it. And I think that's important too, because I think even their bargain was kind of Faustian. Like when you look at them, and the movie does a good job of this, they're having fun, but it does feel like something's missing in their lives.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a third part, like something's not there. And they are not like burdened with the knowing of what happened in the past, but it doesn't mean like Ned is still searching for Spider-Man.
Yeah, he feels like he needs to know why.
He's still trying to find his friend.
Mhm.
He's looking for Spider-Man, and these are the two guys that I think could be Spider-Man. That was a very funny scene. But what he's really doing is trying to find his friend. He knows that he's been a part of something. It's in there somewhere.
Mhm.
And she kind of knows it, which is why maybe she can't. There's a awesome little scene where it shows she can't fully connect with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
She can't fully connect with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend says that she's withholding. Like, that is what Peter had to negotiate with her and get to a place with her where there was no withholding. She's not there with her boyfriend yet. He doesn't know how to deal with it because he's not really her person. Really, her person is somebody, that's swinging around
Was
Manhattan.
Tom Holland dirty macking?
He's a hater.
Like he was, sitting there on the computer, like, "Hey, your boyfriend sound like an asshole."
I mean, he
I
was
was like, "Hey, nah,
he was
nigga,
stalking them online like for a long time.
that was crazy."
Yeah, he's a hater.
It was one of my favorite scenes because it was so funny when MJ's like mad as shit at him, and then she comes back and she's like, "Hey, yo, could you take me home?
Give me a ride."
And he has to like swing back, and he's so fucking mad. I'm like, dog.
But that's the stuff that really works about the movie is that this film, you keep thinking this film is going to give you the version of the cathartic version of the reconciliation between Spider-Man and Ned and MJ that you want, but it just never does. It's always awkward. There's always something missing. Even when they come back and they're playing together, that's Spider-Man playing with Ned and not Peter.
Yeah.
Right? She knows what's going on, and she's still detached from it. They seem to be back together, but they're really never back together. There's just too much that's happened.
That relationship, especially between MJ and Peter, was like the strongest part of the movie for me. I thought that seeing him just live his life without them and like watching them from a distance. There's a scene at the party when, they meet each other again for the first time. He's like, "My name's Maynard," or whatever. And then the boyfriend, as he's credited in the movie, comes and kisses MJ, and he like, "Yo, forget this, man." And he's swinging with the tears in his eyes in the rain, bro.
Yeah.
And I was
his mutation is a crash out. Like literally,
he
crashes out, and then he's like, his body starts changing, and I was dying. That whole sequence when he's swinging home, listening to Future. He's so fucking pissed. He wakes up. He's like, "What's happening?" I was like, "Dog, they killing this shit."
So let's get
they
into
had him in the mud.
Let's get into the comic book stuff. The second mutation is a big, big, big part of this story. It's really it's us meeting Jean, and the second mutation of Spider-Man that is like throwing his world off. At the beginning, it seems like he has a good handle on his world.
Yeah,
he's by himself, but he has an accomplice in the detective that's helping him fight crime. Crime is going down. Being Spider-Man is working. Being Peter Parker is not. But being Spider-Man is working. The movie doesn't let him be just like that part of himself, because the more Spider-Man he is and not Peter Parker, he's not talking to his friends, he's not having a life.
No.
His body actually rejects that. His body rejects that existence in the second mutation where he can't control his powers. He's mean. He's got the web fluid coming out of his body in all kind of crazy ways. How did that stuff work for y'all, the second mutation?
as someone who hated it in the comics, because I think the movie,
Why you like in the comics?
dog, this was when I was like, I must have been in like middle school, high school. I think it was called The Other, where not only did they give Spider-Man organic web fluid, do y'all remember they gave him like these fucking bone, like splinter things?
I do remember that.
Where he could like, and when I was reading the comics, I was like, man, Spider-Man has the fucking web shooters. This shit is whack. But it worked so well in the film because I think it's been too easy for Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's become Spider-Man. He gets the fucking like $1 billion suit from Tony Stark right away.
Mhm.
His life kind of sucks, but his life don't suck like Tobey Maguire's life sucks.
It wasn't
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And to me, this movie was the first time where it's like, okay, we've all been through grief. Grief is something where it's like your body just starts acting in weird ways. You're
can't
so
sleep, can't see right.
Mhm.
Like
you can't see right. You can't sleep right. You have aches.
weird
You have pain.
muscle
Can't
twitches.
eat right, like
yeah, cortisol coursing through your brain
For
yeah.
years. It's just like it changes something molecular about you. And to me, using the other storyline to show that by denying himself and not dealing with his grief, by isolating himself and not having friends, not having companions, that being something that manifests in his rage, the black eyes, him almost beating fucking Scorpion half to death. I was like, no, that works because we've never seen Tom Holland really get like that. Maybe in No Way Home when he was fighting Green Goblin after he kills Aunt May. But it gave Tom Holland more range. And that's what I liked about it. Where I'm like, if you could take something that's kind of whack in the comics, but it makes sense in a movie and gives an actor more things to do, I'm always gonna sign off on it. So I ended up being like, no, the organic web shooters are kind of fucking sick. Him, even when he's fighting the Scorpion, getting to see Spider-Man be like strong, like was incredible.
Yeah. Like we always talk about power scaling and stuff like that. We're nerds. But like watching Spider-Man, who we know is just a much more powerful character than he's ever actually given credit for, have to contend with that power, especially this version of Spider-Man, was awesome. By the way, I completely agree with what you say about him not having it hard enough. Think about it. He's gotten all of this tech, became an Avenger. He's had 2 of the most sought-after biracials in the entire... Like, think about it.
Been on the Avengers payroll.
This nigga going crazy as far as the biracials are
Think
concerned.
about it. You got to think about it. In the beginning of the movie, in the elevator, when he was coming out of the elevator, Wyman was like, "So you live here around here?" He didn't even get
Oh
no
man,
mind.
Ignored that one.
It's not on my mind, man. It's like you live on my floor. He's like, yeah.
He's
bye.
like, that
Later.
skin color,
know what I'm saying?
enough for me.
And
I'm
I'm
not
fucking
really
with
on
that.
the white women
Little
like that.
darker
We
shade.
don't ever talk about that.
What?
This Spider-Man is basically Robert De Niro, man.
He's got preference.
like this. He is. We don't ever talk about that. We've seen him with 2 ladies, but look, he hasn't gone.
He from Queens,
He from Queens, nah.
Come on now.
He from Queens. He hasn't gone the full way. We haven't seen him with like
With a dark skin said, he
Keke
ain't shooting
Palmer.
a shot with Shuri.
with Shuri.
Right.
Now we haven't seen that. But as far as the thing is, he like a little bit of he like to be out there a little
Yo,
bit, man.
Ryan Coogler, if you're listening, please put Spider-Man in Black Panther 3. I need to see the panel where Spider-Man goes to Wakanda against the corn.
Speaking of that,
You trying to get people in trouble?
Speaking of that, I'm sure we'll talk about this on Higher Learning, but you might have to put. Did you guys see the pictures of David Johnson leaving Mr. Child?
Yo, TMZ caught him lacking.
What? What is this?
What happened?
I don't know what this is.
Dog, Mike,
our
you
new
came
Black
from his
Panther.
dog.
Our new Black Panther was leaving Mr. Child, and he was taking a milk bath.
We don't know.
No, wait.
No. First of all, I'm not even dissing. This is a good moment for him.
Hey,
'Cause
I can't throw stones.
I'm not.
in a glass house.
There's no stones to throw. His life is his life. But this is a good message for him because the lights are a little brighter now.
Yeah.
we got a
Okay.
microscope on you.
So
Everybody was making fun because they was pulling up Dams's photo with the Pog shirt.
yeah,
And I was like, y'all laughing a little too much.
Yeah, I'm saying everybody, like, the lights are a little brighter now. Just pull him to the side. One of the OGs in Hollywood. pull him to the side.
Denzel after
Like,
the
yo.
slap.
No, Anthony Mackie sure he
I
got
was
caught.
just saying,
He
hey,
got
hey,
caught
hey,
a couple
crazy.
months ago.
Hey, do your thing, but you're gonna need a Keisha in there, a couple Keishas, or else it's gonna look bad.
Oh, you
I'm
want to
just
know
saying,
who could teach him? Yo, Aaron Pierre got hot. He got him a
Aaron
Tiana
Pierre.
Taylor just to be like,
Yeah.
Come
come
on, man. Like,
Yeah.
I know that there's secret Black Brit meetings of actors in Hollywood where they talk. Hey, David, we over the moon. And it's funny because when you looked at the comments, people weren't even down on him. Nobody
yeah.
was like dissing. People were like, "Oh man, we just gonna need to let him know that there's a way." like, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta move a
there was a. We just gonna need to let him know. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Tom Holland never had that problem. He never had that problem on the movies and in real life.
Yeah.
Tom Holland kept it real. I like it.
Oh, right. Hey, man, you hating.
I'm not hating at all.
You hating.
How am I hating? Tom
Love is
Holland,
love.
like love is love. I have no problem with this. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny.
These are your brothers at TMZ. They knew what they was doing.
That was actually Bad Grid that got that. I'm gonna say that, but
Okay.
because it was Stills. That was actually Bad Grid that got that. But it was funny. But Tom Holland, to be honest with you, he has had it pretty easy. He always had a fake ass mentor that was doing, and he had the baddest of biracials. Okay,
Right.
best tech. He already been to space, been back. They like so. You're right.
I'll say this too. This is how I know Tom Holland got that jungle fever. He's in the bath with Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh. She like, take all that shit off. He's like, shit, get out of here, bro.
Didn't try one thing.
He just
That's
put his
not
feet
what
up
he
like,
into. That's not what he into.
He's like,
Hello, Ringerverse fans. I regret to inform you that due to the initiation of Deep Shadow Protocol, this bit had to be edited out of the pod. I know, I'm just as disappointed as you are. Thanks as always for listening, and the Midnight Boys, pew pew, we'll get back to you shortly.
I'm telling you.
Hey, man, come on, man.
Will, oh, you want to say?
Well, no, because this is really funny you guys bringing this up because Thomas talked about it on the press tour. We was like, yeah, man, people keep coming up to me. People saying, yeah, man, we happy you in the mud, man. We happy you broke, man. We happy you down. He like, y'all don't want to see me shine. Like, what's the big deal? Y'all love seeing a Spider-Man who ain't got nothing.
I mean, that's part of the character.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way,
You're not wrong, but
that's like just another thing when we talk about how these characters are introduced. We're just now getting to that part of Spider-Man. And look, I guess maybe that's a fundamental part of Spider-Man having to use because his genius is really in his resourcefulness and stuff. Steve, you've been wanting to say something for a
Well,
second.
yeah, I don't know. Like his genius being in his resourcefulness is absolutely part of it. But I think the thing that I liked about the fact that this one was so down in the mud was the fact that he's always kind of plagued by the fact that he's not a better person when he's still a great person. And he can always bring out the best in other people because every time that he's like talking to Bruce Banner or even Jean Grey as well, like everybody is, and this is to Tom Holland's credit, like you could see his other scene partners kind of stricken with how good of a person he is and how like compelling of a soul that Peter Parker is. And I think only Tom Holland can do that. And I think that's probably the best when we see him with Zendaya. Like you could tell that that's his wife in some scenes because when they were like she was on the bed and he was like working on something on a desk and like they were like not looking at each other but trying to look at each other. That's the kind of stuff that always makes a good Spider-Man story to me.
Yeah, and I also think she sees him differently a little bit. Like she, even in this movie, like she knows him so well. She doesn't know that she knows him, but she challenges him almost every single scene she's in with him.
Mm-hmm.
She challenges him. She like when she picks up the letter, she goes like, "Were you ever gonna tell me about this?" Then she goes, "Did you leave this here for me to read? Did you do this on purpose?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he doesn't know how to answer that question because the answer is yes. Even if he doesn't know that the answer is yes. The answer is yes. The answer is she's there. He didn't go through a whole thing to hide that because a part of him wanted her to find it. Well, he wanted that moment and he was hoping that it went differently. And that scene right there was like amazing that she just looks at him. The spell worked.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I don't know you. I'm not in love with you. Like we're gonna have to do this the hard way, which is how Spider-Man does things.
Emotional gut punch. Like that whole sequence with them and Frank's bunker, like the bed scene, the dirty Mac, and
Wonderful.
Like, it's funny and all that. But the scene where she's like, take the mask off. I want to hear Peter Parker. I want to see Peter Parker say this. And she's like, yeah, man, I guess we did have all these moments, but I don't love you.
Right.
I don't know you. And all this time, like all Peter's ever wanted since the spell is to have MJ back in his life as she was. And for her to tell him like, yo, that's just not gonna happen. I'm a different person. I can't get there. I can't meet you where you are. And like they don't cut to her. It's him and his face. And you can feel him realizing like, yo, it's over. Like everything that I've wanted, everything I've ever thought I could how I could fix this, it's unfixable.
I mean, one of the things that I think this film does so well is that there's a problem in the comics that they've never been able to kind of fix ever since Bendis put Spider-Man on the Avengers, is that when the Avengers know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, then MJ knows that he's Peter Parker, and Aunt May, it takes a lot of the tension out of the character. And I think in those first Tom Holland films, once his aunt and Ned and MJ and Tony and everybody knows he's Peter, you don't get the drama that comes from the best Spider-Man comics, which is I'm trying to juggle being a reporter, being a good son to Aunt May, trying to be a good boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. And this is the first Tom Holland movie where we get to see like, oh, you can't have it all as Spider-Man. You're gonna if you overcorrect in one area, this is what suffers. And to me, that's why people like the character, because being a teenager and being in your early 20s is navigating how much can I tell a lover? How much can I tell a friend? Much can I tell my workers? What does it feel to fail? And that's what I liked about this movie.
It is a comic book movie, and there's a hell of a lot of comic book shit in here. Let's go through some of it. We talked a little bit about Black Widow, who pops up in the movie. Legitimately surprising to me.
It's great.
Hulk, Punisher.
Yeah.
We'll get back and maybe do a little bit more on Jean Grey, but which character you guys want to start with?
I think Punisher because, John Bernthal's been getting some criticism lately just for maybe his acting becoming very, I would say one note. I think his chemistry with Tom Holland in this was perfect.
Yeah.
Just, once again, this wasn't Tony Stark bossing up on Peter. This was Peter holding his own with another superhero that's just as formidable and dangerous. And there's just something. They've been on the press tour, Tom Holland and Bernthal, whenever they're together, you're like, oh, there's just something that you two have where it's funny. I thought even the scene when they're fighting the Hulk, incredible shit. It's some of the best stuff we've seen in these movies. I thought Bernthal, he knows this character so well. And I like the fact that they sanded down the edges, but he still gets to be Frank Castle. He's still an asshole. He's still trying to curse. I thought Punisher was great.
But you know what's funny about the fact that they sanded down the edges? There's two ways to look at this. One is that, because they did. One is that this is a completely different version of his Punisher that we haven't seen with him in anything else. We just watched his Punisher one-shot movie where he kills a bunch of different people in the most savage ways.
That was so savage.
Right? Then we've seen him with Daredevil, just killing, and Daredevil going, Frank, stop, right? We've seen him before. We've seen all of this. Is it fair to think that, to your point, or to your point, that Spider-Man brings out a different side of him?
Yes,
yeah.
1,000%.
Which was kind of shown in this movie. The goodness and, quite frankly, the power, because Spider-Man can fuck over him, but just the aura of Spider-Man makes Punisher want to slightly be a better person. He's not in a killing contest with him. They're not dark vigilantes operating in this sort of desperate area of New York, cracking bones and all of that stuff. Spider-Man is trying to save people while doing the least amount of damage. Punisher doesn't care about the damage that he does, which is why he's the Punisher, right? So like that relationship between them, to where it gets to the end of the movie, And Frank Castle actually almost does the ultimate damage because of who he is, who he still has to be, which is almost killing Spider-Man, right? And him realizing how lucky he is to have boundaries. Like at the end, he's so happy that didn't happen. And he's lucky that he has boundaries, that Spider-Man provides him with boundaries. And it makes Frank Castle a little bit more human. There's an arc in this movie for the Punisher, which you would not think would happen in a movie where he serves, should I say, like as a team-up partner.
Yeah. When promotion's coming out, you find Punisher in the movie, you're like, oh, cool, he's gonna be in a couple scenes, they're gonna fight, they might team up, whatever. Like, you don't think that there might be an emotional arc for him. When they're in his little hidey hole and he's like, you can't even take your mask off to get coffee? Like, I gotta protect all this thing. It's like, bro, look at your life.
Yeah.
You think you think I want to live like this? I don't have to. I live at this. If I had my people out there, I would be there. You gotta figure something out. Something's wrong with you. And I'm like, is that emotional depth from Punisher in my Spider-Man movie? Oh my gosh. I was like, really, again, like I said at the beginning, they give so much emotional weight to all these characters. We'll talk about Hulk later. Like, it's just, they didn't have to do that for Punisher in this movie. The fact that they did, and it worked, and it was just amazing.
I mean, also, one of my favorite moments for Punisher in the comics comes from Civil War, where he comes through, he's holding Spider-Man, and you realize Punisher has such reverence for Captain America. And what it reveals about Punisher in that moment is the Punisher knows he's a monster, and he looks up to a hero like Captain America, or in this movie, like Spider-Man, because that's actually who he wants to be. He just thinks he's not good enough, or deep down, that's past him. And he
says it in the movie. He says this is a sentence.
Yeah.
His obsession is something he can't control, not to cut your wisdom.
No. And that's what I think this movie does so well is, and what I want to see from the MCU, which is like, even if Steve Rogers wasn't the biggest, even if it was Iron Man's kind of franchise, Steve Rogers was always that moral center of these movies, where it's like, and even in the comics, he gives you something to believe in. And to me, in what Spider-Man helps Punisher to get to, I'm like, oh, the MCU is missing this. They're kind of missing that moral center, that when that character is in frame, all of the heroes feel like they can be better versions of themselves. Even Yelena, it's a little bit of a joke, but even she has a small character arc where she's like, it's small potatoes. Everything you're doing with New York is beneath me. I'm an Avenger. And she starts by the end of the movie helping Spider-Man out. And it's like interesting that like Black Widow and Punisher, two of the worst killers in the MCU, in Peter's innocence, they're like, no, we see you're sad. We see this mutation. You're better than this. You need to be above us. I love that.
Yeah. And, you could throw, and we'll talk about Hulk now, you can throw characters in movies just so that we buy tickets, or you can give them something to do in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's utility for Black Widow in this. She has access to a lot of information. She is and has been in her past, not this Black Widow as much, but someone that was knew how to get information, had a lot of information, was involved in espionage and stuff like that. And so if you needed to know something, and since all these superheroes seem to like be in New York, man, who protecting Cleveland?
I mean, that's how it is in the comics.
I'm just saying,
you want Spider-Man to go to Cleveland?
Bro, I'm just saying, bro. Like,
Braun didn't go back to Cleveland the second time, third time, I guess.
Hey, bro. LeBron James treats Cleveland like Jenny treated Forrest Gump.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
He does.
Now raise my
LeBron
son.
James treats Cleveland like Jenny treated Forrest Gump. We talk about the love story in Forrest Gump, man.
Not really.
Forrest Gump and Jenny was
show.
together. And then Jenny went and was all up and down in the West Coast, going crazy.
Hey, sex
having
positivity
fun.
here.
I'm not saying, y'all always do that. Did I say there was anything wrong with it? No, she was doing her thing. That's great, right? She was like, you want to ride to San Francisco? Jenny was like, I'll go. Jenny on the streets of LA, cool, doing her thing, about to jump off the fucking building while fucking Fleetwood Mac play in the background, whatever. It was actually Freebird. I love that record.
Well, can I ask you guys, honestly, LeBron is treating Philly like Cleveland. That nigga living in New York. They say he living in New York. He don't even want to go to Philly.
But like, what I'm saying is like the person that's like staying there and being pure and waiting for your life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, I know what you're gonna get. Philly, nigga. That's what you're gonna get. Miami. LA. That's what you're gonna get.
Wait, so which hero do you think should be protecting Cleveland in the MCU?
Who's protecting Cleveland?
No, who would you send if you're the GM of the MCU and you're just like, oh, like Cleveland gets its own team? Who's going
Now
there?
let me tell you something about Cleveland real quick. Okay, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland got the Cavs. They got the Browns. Cleveland
The
is
Guardians?
a real Guardians. Cleveland is a real working class American city, a black city.
We could send the Red Guardian down there.
I don't think we're gonna send
Hell
Red Guard.
nah.
I'm telling you who I think I'm gonna send to protect Cleveland, man. The Falcon. I'm gonna send the Falcon to protect Cleveland. He is going to be the Falcon protector of Cleveland.
That's
Captain America.
Captain America Falcon. I'll send Captain America. You're right. I apologize.
Well, there is a
Captain America
Falcon.
to
Do you want to
Cleveland.
send the actual Falcon,
Yeah,
or
I
you want to
wanna
send
send
our
him.
Captain America?
Danny Ramirez.
Sending
think
Anthony Mackie to Cleveland is crazy.
By the way,
He's
can I tell you
Avengers.
something? Can I tell you something real quick? Just to let you know. If Hulk became Captain America, he would still be the Hulk and Captain America. Okay, he would be Captain America. Hulk.
All right, well, let me ask you this: if they, I don't know, if Jacob Elordi becomes the new Captain America, you gonna call him Captain America because he's white?
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I wouldn't. To me, don't get me started. Like Captain America is, and I love Captain America. Steve Rogers. Okay. And
Steve Rogers can't be black.
Steve Rogers. You could make anybody whatever the fuck. Like Steve Rogers, Captain America. Tony Stark, Iron Man. Peter Parker,
T'Challa,
Spider-Man.
Black Panther.
Miles Morales. All is in there now. But what I'm saying is, my overall question is this: we did, man, New York, Hulk. They fucking got Jean Grey was in that bitch. Everybody's in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Thunderbolts in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a great city.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
the Avengers,
Everybody in New York.
X-Men
The
are in
Avengers,
upstate New
everybody
York.
in the X-Men in upstate New York. Man, who's looking out for Seattle, bruh?
How much?
The
how
West
much
Coast
crime-
Avengers.
New York, how much
Even
crime
though
is
they
in
got
this
those-
New
country?
York doesn't have it
They
like
got
that.
the Great Lake
This
Avengers.
is something that DC does better than Marvel because the Flash is
Central City.
Everybody's got their beat.
Everybody's got their beat.
Coast City,
Like all of this
shit.
stuff. But like I wonder sometimes, niggas going crazy in Miami. Baton Rouge, we definitely need a superhero. Please send somebody down there. Like, please. Bro,
Hawkeye for you,
please.
brother. Hawkeye for you.
We
No,
brother.
you wanna know-
we would love
Hawkeye
Hawkeye.
for you, brother.
Bro, we would love Hawkeye. Send
Hawkeye
Hawkeye
would
to
be in
Baton
the
Rouge.
club. He'd be like, "This is
Man,
amazing."
Hawkeye go to shenanigans and
Shooting
be
game.
like waiting to go upscale. Bella Noche. We would love. By the way, you know who else would love Hawkeye in Baton Rouge? The white people of Baton Rouge. They got a white boy with a bow just clipping niggas.
Dog, can you
just like-
imagine this
just
whole
like-
Hawkeye movie in Baton Rouge? He's
Bro,
just like,
These are the things just Hawkeye
Hawkeye's
sitting,
here.
Hawkeye down at the bottom, up in like right in North Baton Rouge, and Dixie just. Poof.
You know what's crazy too? Because people gonna be like, "That's the arrow, bro, man. We could take him, man. We
They
got
gon-
him."
Yeah,
That's the thing.
They gonna press
They'll
him.
try him every time.
Bruh, niggas from around the way in Gardier, they gonna think they could beat Hawkeye up. Hawkeye gonna kick them in the knee and then beat them up with the bow.
But what I
don't even need
also
my
like about
arrows,
DC
man.
is that DC do got this problem where it's like, if you look at the Flash's Rogues Gallery, I love them. But they not really doing too much damage.
Yeah.
Superman Metropolis, no, not too much damage. Gotham is the city where I'm like, no, that's New York.
That they
Them-
need, they need everybody to be in that.
They
way.
need
yeah,
five
they need
Robins
Justice League.
and
out there,
Batgirl
yeah.
and shit like
Because
that.
to be
Metropolis
real,
is fine.
like if I lived in Gotham, like if you go to, do you just go to the club? So, so if you live in Gotham and you go to the club, like there's like a 15% chance that you go to the club and the Joker has poisoned all the Hennessy.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy shit.
Not
is
even all the
happening.
Hennessy though. You can't even shower. Can't even use
The
the
water,
water.
Water
like,
supply's always
There's
fucked
that
up.
dog,
Scarecrow,
the
the
Scarecrow
Joker.
tear grass coming. You like,
Yeah,
God,
you
damn.
like,
not again.
You leave and it's a riddle in the sky, and they like you can't even turn the ignition on your car if you can't solve this. It's just like crazy.
Do you
shit
think
going
when they
on.
see the bat signal, like, the black them's like, all right, we going back inside. Come on.
Probably. But you know what else? If I was a regular criminal in Gotham, like let's say I was like sticking up a 7-Eleven and then Batman showed up, I'd be like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, you got bigger
Are
fish
you
to fry.
fucking crazy? Are you
Come on, man.
fucking joking with me? I'm about to get $300 from this.
You see that light, right?
Poison Ivy, like, what are you doing here? Like, what? Like,
That's
what's your
and that's
thing?
probably the deterrent. Like, if he beats up one robber at a 7-Eleven, Now, not that many people are going to try it, knowing that he's beating a poison ivy
I'm
later.
I'm
these
still
niggas,
doing these niggas taking this chances, bro. I don't know if you know, Steve.
I probably don't.
No, here's what I'm really afraid of.
I probably don't.
At least Batman going to pull his punch. If I'm robbing like fucking Quickie Mart and Damian Wayne just pops in, I'm like,
The
Cut you with a knife,
sword?
yeah, cut you with a knife.
Hey, man, you got it, man.
All right, so
what do we think about dog? The Hulk scene where he goes Savage Hulk and Spider-Man is like, dog, I didn't know you could get this big. I was like, God damn.
So
nigga.
listen, we talked last night after the movie about everybody's, somebody told me that they should have had Deadpool in the movie and not the Punisher.
Who said that?
Who said that?
Who said that?
That was Aleya.
All right, we got to talk.
I'm like,
AL, he got to chill, bro.
I'm like, what are you talking about, AL, bro?
That's a lot.
I'm like, what are you talking about, AL?
AL's like Venom's in this movie. I'm like, come on, bro.
AL's
yeah.
the line, yeah.
Why didn't they make one of her kids Miles?
I'm like, AL's like,
all right.
What AL's like, that should have been Deadpool. I'm like, oh, come on, AL. Come on, man. We just got out the movie, bro. We was at the con all week. We tired, dog. What you doing, AL? Like, what you doing?
Standing in lines all day.
But no, the Savage Hulk is in the film, and we're not gonna. It's very easy to talk about like how powerful the Hulk should be, and if the MCU is dedicated to a super powerful Hulk. I will say that the usage in this of the Hulk in this movie added to the film. It didn't seem like just something that was just there. It's also there for the sake of being there. It's great to know that Mark Ruffalo still loves playing the Hulk.
Yeah.
There's more Hulk. There's more stuff for the Hulk to do. But to see Banner in this movie as someone who uses his genius to help Peter, and then also see Jean being able to take control of the Hulk, not the Savage Hulk, but of the Hulk, and then unleash this onto the city of New York. I thought that was fun.
But I will say my one critique, we needed more from the Hulk scene. I was expecting we would get Spider-Man really having to go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, and I feel like they kind of was like,
he just outsmarts him.
I don't think they know how to do that.
It's
because we talk about Falcon having a bad win-loss record in MCU. The Hulk's is terrible too.
That's very true.
I mean, the last time we saw that version of the Hulk.
So the Hulk lost to Thanos.
Yeah.
You could make an argument that he lost to Thor.
Lost to Tony.
When did you lose to Thor?
He lost to Thor in the Avengers. To me, he lost to him. To me,
he beat Abomination.
He beat Abomination. I don't know if that counts, but yeah.
Why wouldn't
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Mark Ruffalo back then.
To me, he loses because he loses to Thor in the Avengers. I score that for Thor.
Right.
Maybe it's not clear victory. I scored that.
And Tony beats him too in 2.
What is Tony?
In Ultron.
Kinda.
With Hulkbuster?
With the Hulkbuster, that's kinda. He's right.
Okay, what about Ragnarok?
Yeah, he beats up the bridge.
He beats up the bridge, but once again, he loses to Thor again when they fighting in the pit. He kind of loses to, or does he beat Thor? No, he
beats Thor.
He beats Thor.
He beats Thor there.
He beats Thor then. It seems like he beats Thor then, but we kind of don't get a resolution to the fight. We're gonna go back and do this. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a pod. We should do a pod where we go back through the MCU and look at
the win-loss record.
The win-loss records in 1v1s.
The nerfed pod.
The nerfed pod. The win-loss record in 1v1s. Like Ant-Man kind of got a good win-loss record.
He's slick.
Like Ant-Man got a wins over Falcon. Falcon got some really high-profile losses, which you got to say.
That's true.
Even I heard, I saw when we was at Hall H, Anthony Mackie tried to get a little joke off because they put him right next to Paul Rudd. I'm like, hey, Feige, you set him up.
You set him up.
You can't be putting them both together on stage like that. Come on, bro.
Yeah, so we're going to do the 1v1s, but in this one, they did have Savage Hulk, which I felt like, to your point, was going to be more of a problem for Spider-Man, and they kind of just let it fizzle a little bit. They always have to write around that. I'm not sure that they really want the smoke and the problems of what a Hulk or a Savage Hulk,
because that whole building's coming
down. Also, it's not. I will say, it wasn't a loss for Hulk in this. Because if we remember, he was about to squeeze Spidey's head like a fucking grape.
That's true.
And then Spidey did the shit that I hate when
Sun
they do
getting
this
real
story.
low.
He's just like, but Hulk, we're friends. And I'm like, to me, that doesn't count as a win because he's like, Hulk realized, dog, I'm not trying to kill the homie.
It was he lullabied him. Does a lullaby? That's a question.
Lullaby's a loss too.
He lullaby.
Is a lullaby a loss?
I don't think
Lullaby's
a
a
lullaby.
loss.
is a
So
loss.
because that would
Lullaby's a
have to mean Black Widow because Mark Ruffalo
Well, it's not
saw ScarJo and he was like, you know what? I don't even need.
Yeah,
this.
he did. You're right. I just remembered that he did. He basically lullabied him. So you can't really count this as a loss. But Spider-Man was doing Spider-Man stuff on the Hulk's back, sticking to the Hulk, all of that. I really enjoyed that entire. That's a good pause. I really enjoyed that entire sequence. Although I don't know at this point what we're expecting from the Hulk.
The problem with the Hulk to me is the same problem with James Gunn's Superman, which is like, to me, David Cornswell was a great Superman, but what do we hear after that movie? Ah, man, Superman's fucking weak, blah, 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 blah. He was getting his ass kicked. And I'm like, yeah, but if you don't make a character that's vulnerable, you get fucking Henry Cavill where you're just like, wait, what can really hurt him? Is this even interesting anymore? So sometimes I'm like, for story purposes, comics are different from the movies. In comics, Hulk can do whatever. In the movies, if the Hulk was really the Hulk, we wouldn't even have this shit. He would have just leveled half of fucking Manhattan.
Yeah, the whole building would have come down.
Come on. Because even in the building, I was like, dog, this building is not.
The code cannot handle the Hulk. We talked like the action of that sequence is also great. When Punisher comes through, we saw that. We saw the beginning of that scene in Hall H when Punisher is like just shooting him with the gun right there. Like all that stuff was incredible when they're like he's pulling Punisher and like Hulk is like coming the other way. Like it's just like the way that Daniel Desecrain like directs the action for the entire movie, but this sequence specifically, incredible stuff. It was great to see. We haven't seen a Hulk in like since 2018, like that version of the Hulk, or since Infinity War. Yeah, right? We saw Savage Hulk in not Savage Hulk, sorry, Smart Hulk in Endgame, and then in She-Hulk it was Smart Hulk again. We haven't seen
Hulk wasn't in Infinity War, was he?
The beginning.
Yeah, very beginning.
Thanos.
That's
beats him up.
And then that we literally have not seen that Hulk in freaking 8 years.
Shit, I don't even think that was the Hulk that was in there. I think Savage Hulk is bigger because he says, I didn't know you could get this big.
Well, I mean, he also hasn't. I guess maybe he like watched the film.
Yeah,
but he like literally only knows Smart Hulk. Right? He's never met that version of Hulk. Like we know Hulk can go crazy. He's never seen that version. But yeah, like the fact that we had Bruce Banner, we had the version of Smart Hulk that Jean Grey was controlling, right? And then once the inhibitor came off, and he was like, "Yo, hey, you gotta dip, bro. This is about to get crazy in here." And we see that Hulk they haven't seen in a minute.
Can I do a quick quarter flip?
Oh,
now at the end of this movie, we end with Peter realizing he needs friends. He goes up to Ned.
Okay.
He does the dap. And we get Ned is like, oh, I remember you. Now, MJ, who is his girlfriend, she's like, I got no memories of you, partner. My boy Joe said, do you think it has to do with Ned's magical abilities?
Could.
Oh.
It could be Ned's magical abilities.
He's secretly a powerful wizard, yeah.
He's secretly a powerful wizard. There could also be something else.
What?
Ned and Peter engaged in something physical that made Peter, or made Ned remember Peter. It might just be that maybe MJ and Peter need to engage in something physical.
They need a handshake.
Slight zag.
They need a handshake.
Slight zag. Not a handshake.
They need a handshake.
Not a handshake.
Yeah.
They need to shake something else. Maybe if they, because
what we gonna say, Steve?
Well, I mean,
it's more so like it would have been more intriguing if MJ did remember and she's just lying.
Nah, she's not lying. That's
she's not lying.
Nah, it happens a lot.
Nah.
I said this last night. I was just like, hey, yo, your girl, once you got a new man, yeah, she might forget about you, but your day one homies ain't never.
Yeah,
like,
that's not. I mean, that's your trauma. But like,
I'm choosing to read that scene as because remember when he's leaving, she calls him Peter, and then he's like, "You just call Spider-Man Peter." And so when he introduces himself as now, the handshake is a little like I do kind of question like, where do you remember that from? But I think it's him realizing. Oh, my name's Peter. Peter. Oh, Peter, you're Spider-Man. I think that's how I wanted to read that scene.
It could be
the handshake's a little but that's how I read that.
Because it's interesting. I thought about that. I was like, if you forget Peter, would you forget the handshake? Does he remember? Because everything else they remember except just Peter being there. So the handshake is still a part of his muscle memory, but who he did the handshake with is gone. He might have never done that handshake with anybody else. And now he remembers it because that's still a part of his makeup, right?
Right.
Because remember, Happy forgets Peter, but he remembers Aunt May.
Yeah.
Right? So there's still things around Peter that you would remember, just not Peter himself. I'm not convinced at the end of the movie that Ned knows who he is.
You don't think so?
That he just pieced together that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That's all that he pieced together.
He introduces himself as Peter, doesn't he? In that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not convinced that he remembered. I think he remembered the shake. You could read that as a beginning of their relationship.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
As a beginning of, now I'm going to tell you this stuff and you have reason to listen to me.
Mm.
You could read it like that. Or, I mean, we could talk about it. Or you could just read it as, he remembers. It just depends on like how you look at it.
I don't think he remembers because I think G. Gary's pretty clear about, brother, there's nothing about you in here. Like it's all gone.
Yeah.
And so I think it's them relearning, like kind of meeting for the first time again.
All right, let's talk about something that Jomi was very interested in talking about last night. Jomi, your one critique of the movie, your big critique of the movie was that you felt like the movie needed a villain. In this movie, it's pretty clear that throughout the movie, Jean Grey is your villain. Does Jean Grey work as basically the central villain of this movie? Metzger is your top villain.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the weakest parts of the movie, anybody, a 3-year-old, could have seen that guy was bad.
Yeah.
Like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't even think they were trying to hide it.
Like he's just lying to him.
It was just like from the beginning of it, a 3-year-old could see that guy was bad. But did the movie need a better villain? Did it have a villain?
This movie to me follows the trend of MCU films where they struggle with villains. And if I had one big critique of this, I feel like if you are not a comic book fan, it will probably bother you a lot more than it did me, because it's like, I love dumb villains like Scorpion and Boomerang. And even if you see him only for a moment, and we haven't talked about Spider-Man versus the Hand, that stuff just like zaps my lizard brain. And I'm like, dog, this is fucking dope. Who cares about the villain?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it would have been a stronger movie if the Tremel Tillman character was a better villain. Like, I was just like, who is this guy? What is really his motivations? Because we haven't even talked about it. Essentially, Peter has a Tony Stark Ultron moment where he creates technology that will almost certainly be used against mutants.
Yeah.
And if you have a villain in that role that is better suited to kind of walk you through the ethical lines of that, to me, this movie just bumps up a whole nother level.
Yeah. They skirt around that, right? She talks about it. Hulk talks about it like, yo, are you sure you want to build this thing? This could, like this, even MJ is like, yo, like suppressing this stuff is like really important. Like you could really like mess yourself up. I just thought like that was going to go somewhere. It didn't. And Tremel Tillman is an incredible actor. Like I don't think this falls on him. It wasn't his fault. Yeah, this falls on him. But I'm like, okay, if you the big bad of the movie, you gotta like stand up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
would Stryker have been better in terms of like if Stryker was in charge of damage control? We know that like Weapon X is a thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a history of them like experimenting on mutants.
It would have been a bit more high profile, but like again, if it was that still that level of involvement in the story, it still would have been muted.
I mean, how do we know that we don't even know how they want to position Stryker yet? It's like it's crazy because it's like, yeah, Stryker would have been better because it would have been like oohs and ahs, and Stryker's a much more interesting character than Bill Metzger is.
Brian Cox back?
I would love that.
That'd be sick.
Like,
that'd be so sick.
Tom Holland and Brian Cox on the screen would have been hilarious.
But like, we don't know what era of the X-Men that they're. Well, we do, but we don't know where Stryker fits into that. Yeah. We don't know where Weapons Plus fits into that. So if you go with Stryker, and that's another thing that these stories are kind of doing, is if you go with Stryker, you kind of lock yourself into one specific type of storytelling. You're going for like, there's a lot of structure to that.
Yeah.
They want to kind of leave that open-ended, it would seem like they do, so they can give writers not at Jean Grey's, in this, a way to cook up their own version of the mutants. Those old X-Men movies didn't have to contend with any other continuities. So they could do like whatever they wanted. And they did a lot of shit too. They had an original, because we talk about all the other stuff. The original X-Men roster of that was all off. Like they didn't do it right. None of these movies have done this stuff like in a comic accurate way.
Yeah, like by the book.
It wasn't Iceman, Beast, Angel, Jean, and Cyclops.
But do we honestly even think that the MCU movies will do that? Because with the success of X-Men 97, are they going to do the original 5, or they're like, nah?
They might, but I think it's completely unnecessary, right? I think the more important thing is to build the world right, which is what the MCU has really done. The MCU has built like the worlds in a way that's like the right way. A lot of times, like the debuts of the characters aren't like right in line with what's represented in the comic books. Jean as a villain in this was interesting. It's funny. She plays almost in the movie as a pretty typical Spider-Man villain from what we've seen in these movies.
Yeah.
Like if you looked even the first 3 Spider-Man movies, besides Topher Grace in the church praying for God to kill Spider-Man.
Please kill Spider-Man.
Like it's like
I love that scene. Y'all
it's so
amazing.
funny, bro.
That's real hate.
That's real. Like God, one thing, don't take away my burden or anything like that. Please kill Spider-Man. I'm like, what?
Damn it.
Like crazy. But if you look even at let's say Dr. Octopus or Green Goblin, these are gifted, tortured villains. These are people that aren't just like Lex Luthor, who you can't reason with, or even the Joker, whose philosophy is so twisted that it's so nihilistic that it takes human beings out of it. In a way, she's kind of like one of them. She's a lot closer to them in terms of Spider-Man villains that we've seen. Even Vulture, who you can kind of understand. Mysterio's a little bit more like whatever. But when they brought back all the other villains from the other continuities for Spider-Man No Way Home, it was kind of the same thing. There's a bunch of people that like you can see the good in.
Right.
Why did they use like a Mr. Negative though, who basically I was like, you guys are using like the Mr. Negative storyline from the Spider-Man 2 game, but it's Jean Grey instead. Because even when they were talking about she can only jump 33 feet, I'm like, that's a Mr. Negative power. That's not really how Jean Grey's telepathy works.
Yeah, right. And I think that the thing that like really like cemented that thought for me is I thought the scene with him fighting the Hand was great. It was not a bad scene at all. Again, we've talked about how much we love the action. However, in these movies, man, Spider-Man 1, him versus Green Goblin. In Spider-Man No Way Home, him and Green Goblin, that fight again. Spider-Man 2, him and Dr. Octopus. Even in his first movie with the Vulture, I thought was a really good scene. Like, these movies end with him, like, putting BTA on a villain. You know what I mean? And we didn't have that. I was kind of like, dang, like, to your point, if it's just him and Mr. Negative duking it out, he realizes, yo, I can use both sides. I can be Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And he does it to like one specific, like the main villain of the movie. That's like the one thing I would love to see in this movie.
And it makes more sense with his mutation and his rage and the emotions of it all. Metzger is just kind of like, he's fighting the feds?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I think what he was fighting some. I understand that, by the way. I think he was fighting something much more profound, but it's not always going to work for people. You want that space at the end of the movie for Spider-Man to like realize how powerful he is, and then take.
It's kind of lizard brainy a little bit,
and take the villain down. I thought he was in so much danger in the entire movie. Danger from himself, danger from her. She was a scary villain, and I thought it was a clever way to do something that Marvel has to do, which is get us into this world. It's like, and that's what they used to do. What they used to be able to do was to take a character in a movie and get us into a new world, like almost, evangelize a new world for us. I thought they were able to do that, but for people that still want to see this Spider-Man up against a more classic rogues gallery of Spider-Man stuff, I can see where the Jean Grey being the villain might be a little underwhelming for people.
Was the post-credit scene bullshit?
A little bit.
Yep.
Do you think
lot
that
of it.
there's going to be one that do you think that they held one back? Because sometimes with the press, like you guys got to, I think, see the Eternals teaser when I was living in New York. I didn't. So sometimes they hide it. Do you think that they're hiding one, or do you think this is it?
I hope not, because that'd be rude. But I lost so much sleep thinking about that last night. Sounds like, what could that mean? It really, I think it really could only be Venom, right? Because I don't know if we'll see him, Spider-Man, before Secret Wars comes out. And the famous thing about the first Secret Wars story is that's where he gets the black suit. Yeah. And so I think that's really just a tease for the next iteration of, I guess, his version of Spider-Man 5, I guess. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Spider-Man 5, it's going to be him coming back with a Venom suit and dealing with that. Because that's the only thing it can mean, like, to me.
What are the most... Have the Spider-Man movies ever had good post-credit scenes? I was thinking about that last night.
The first one has the one with...
Captain America comes out.
No, but there's also the one with Michael Keaton. He's in the white.
Yeah.
Michael Mando.
Right.
And he's like, I heard you knew who Spider-Man was. And he's like, nah. And he keeps it pushing. We kind of like...
Scorpion one, right?
That was the first
Sinister
Scorpion
Stick.
one.
Okay.
Like, what were the post-credit scenes?
What was the one for Far From Home?
Far From Home.
I don't even remember that one.
I don't know.
I think, you guys, you know what? I think that, I don't know why I feel this way. I have no reason to like feel this way. I think that might be like a Sony thing.
That could be.
I think it might be maybe that like they don't want to get too deep in you, because even that Scorpion one is like, that's kind of like, I don't know. We saw those characters in those other Sony movies and stuff like that. That might be I just can't.
Oh,
J.K. Simmons comes back, and it's that was a good one.
That's where they go. He's Peter Parker, and then the one at the end, we find out that Maria Hill and Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, have been Skrulls.
That's probably the most MCU-y one.
Right.
To where it pushes it pushes the story forward. That's probably the most MCU one. But when you think about other MCU storylines, it's like at the end of what was it? At the end of which movie does Nick Fury like disintegrate and then he calls?
That's Infinity War.
At the end of Infinity War, right? Like these movies are like in the middle, but I don't know that these have ever. Spider-Man's always kind of walked that line. I don't know if these post-credit scenes have ever. Well, because I expected this one. I'm not shooting Bell. I expected this one to be much, 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 much more because of Doomsday and stuff like that.
I don't disagree, but like I thought it would be more X-Men. But then I think about it. Why would
Sony?
Yeah,
lean into that?
Why would they do them a favor?
I tell you, when Sony was really bold. Do you remember the Venom post-credit scene
with
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like we had like a whole half of a pod dedicated just to that post-credit scene and what that could mean.
Yeah. Nothing.
But this post, there was no mid-credit scene. There was a post-credit scene, and it seemed to be like just kind of bullshit. I mean, it means something, but nothing like really, really, really coming from it. Like
we're getting Venom.
Do you? And I'm not. It's the funniest video I've seen in a while. The woman being like, "Hey, yo, Steve Lacy, what's your favorite part of the film? Don't spoil nothing." He's like, Jean Grey. It's like, and he's like, "Yeah, she's a villain, but not really." I'm using Steve Lacy as a way to be like, do you think fans will be disappointed that there's not more big surprises in this? Where it's like, Jean Grey wasn't a surprise, but that is kind of the only like reveal of the movie.
It's more of a confirmation bias than it is a reveal at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this. We did a pod at the beginning of the year, right? Odds, like over-unders. Is she gonna be Jean Grey? And we were like, it's got to be Jean Grey because Rachel Summers, Firestar, like it doesn't really make much sense for her to be anything else. So really, I mean, in the theater, they say like, movie doesn't like pause to do it. Movie goes, this person, she's here, and her name is Jean Grey. And we were, like that's good. That's what it's gonna be in all the theaters across the world this week. And people are excited to see the X-Men like properly in the MCU. Yeah. I think that's just gonna carry it.
It's a movie with Spider-Man and Jean Grey on the screen together. So this movie had Spider-Man, Jean Grey, the Hulk, the Punisher, all in the same fucking movie.
What did Sean say? Sean was or not Sean. Like, no, we never thought like we would see those characters. Or Kevin Feige.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You confused Sean with Kevin Feige.
Oof.
That's
fault.
your GOAT, man. Shout out to Fantasy and the Big Picture, all the work y'all doing over there. That, you just like, wow, that's your GOAT.
That's my goat.
Yeah.
You know that's my goat. That's
Sean
crazy.
got a kind of Kevin Feige thing going on. I can see the
But put a cap on
put the
him?
cap on.
Little jacket?
I can see Sean up
Roll
there.
15 deep at
I can
Comic-Con.
see Sean up there and Hall H, like, you know,
Doing his
this is
thing?
what we're doing. Yeah.
The Richard Linklater extended universe.
Was Kevin Feige bullshitting in that interview when he's like, yo, the fans kind of got it messed up. There wasn't that much build up.
Oh, shut up.
Whatever. I was a little like, all right, Feige, don't play in our face.
Kevin Feige is one of my favorite. He got the LeBron gene. He one of my favorite generational liars. Kevin Feige
He's
be
really
up there
great.
lying. You be looking at stuff he talking about the past, like about movies and things like that. The Thanos thing is crazy. Brother, he was in all these movies. The Infinity Stone's been layered across this universe.
A big part of Guardians of the Galaxy is his daughters hating each other because of their father. I do agree that, like, yes, I think over the years maybe we thought we got more Thanos than we did.
Yeah.
But like, bro, that was the entire backbone of this
He was
shit.
a known quantity.
He
for
showed up
several
in 2012, or first time we saw him was 2012, and be layered for 6 years throughout either mentions or actual appearances.
MacGuffins.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't need as much like outright Thanos because the stones were there. By the way, the Avengers, that's the Chitauri attacking New York City. Like that's
Thanos.
Thanos.
his army.
It's that's not true. That's both a lie and also it's not like he was in every movie lurking around the corner. There are times where we just forget about him, but man, the Reality Stone was in Thor.
Thor Dark World.
The Power Stone was in Guardians. We got the Tesseract was
The main in what do you call it?
It starts with that.
Yeah.
It was in Thor
Yeah.
and then in Avengers. Yeah.
It starts with that. So like when all you really needed after a while is, when he goes, I'll do it myself, and he grabs the gauntlet, we're like, now we're ready to go.
And we don't see him for another 3 years after that.
Do you guys think, I was thinking about this, do you guys think the general populace gives a fuck about Doctor Doom? Where it's like, we know, if you've read comics, like Doctor Doom is a way more fascinating villain than Thanos to me. But do you think someone who's just gone to see Fantastic Four films and shit actually is like, oh, Doctor Doom is here? Or they're just like, oh, the nigga with the mask?
That's the wrong question. Because that's never been a question with the MCU. It's so interesting where we are. Like, the answer is no, but they didn't care about none of it. The general populace didn't care about Thor. The general populace didn't care about Iron Man. The general populace didn't care about Captain America. They knew them, but they didn't care about them. The question is, can you make them care? That's the thing that they've lost. It wasn't white. When people were like, oh, they're giving us Shang-Chi and shit like that, they gave us Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is a character that people know, but the question is not like, even Black Panther, man. Like, Black Panther is a gigantic fucking Marvel superhero now, bruh. In 1995, 96, it was an X-Men world.
Yep.
People wasn't going crazy over Black Panther like that, right? They weren't. That wasn't a thing. People have always loved Black Panther. Don't get me wrong. We always knew Black Panther, a long-running comic book character, but the MCU was able to make people care. To me, the answer to your question is no, not really. Everybody know who Dr. Doom is, but they don't, not really.
And then you add the layer on top that he's getting played by Robert Downey Jr. It's like, why? What does that mean? I think people are going to be excited no matter what.
Yeah. But like the question will be, can they make them care? Because that's what they used to do. They used to make you care about Black Widow. They used to make you care about Hawkeye. Man,
they made
whoever
us care
gave
about
a
Loki.
fuck-
Like nobody gives a fuck about
nobody
Loki.
knew. Loki became a good villain. Like the movies would make you care about these characters, even if you had a subtle knowledge of who they were. Everybody knew Thor from the people know, but nobody cared. These were A-, really B+ list comic book. People care about Superman.
I mean,
they care about the Joker. That's who they care about. They care. That's a care.
if we're doing we're doing tier lists about like these characters and people, it's Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and the X-Men, like S tier. Are we gonna put X-Men in that?
Yeah,
People
you
will come
gotta
out-
put X-Men.
You got to
Yeah.
put X-Men in that, right? And then after that, it kind of, I want to say falls off a cliff. There are characters that like
Definitely levels to that.
Fantastic Four, you might, you know what I'm saying? That's why those rights got sold off in the first place. Because those are popular characters. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. Because those are, people were buying those comics. They were like, people want to see these movies. Those had X-Men, or Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, just left for Marvel. Brother, Guardians of the Galaxy, you said B-list, brother. Nobody knew who the Guardians
nobody
was.
cared.
You had to really know
Nobody
comics.
knew who the Guardians was.
But you can make people, you can get people involved with story and all of that stuff. It started to fall apart. Well, our expectations changed, right?
Yeah.
And after they made all the Avengers into big stars, then we were like, okay, all right, well, you got the X-Men now, so let's do that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it was like Shang-Chi, the Eternals, all of that stuff. But if those movies would have worked better, Shang-Chi and the Eternals are fine movies. Like, you know, Shang-Chi better than the whatever, bro.
I think but something this movie does, to bring it back to like the Kevin Feige, Sean thing, like seeing Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man on screen together, incredible. We never thought we'd see that. And in this movie, Yelena's in there. Like, you know, they put a bunch of Spider-Man villains in there. The world feels full. The world feels layered. The world feels like lived in. And we haven't gotten that in a lot of these movies. We talk about it all the time. Like Shang-Chi, yeah, like Wong shows up, and at the end credits you have what is it called?
Captain Marvel,
the Hulk.
Yeah.
Right. Like where was that kind of stuff throughout like these last couple of years, right? I mean, frankly, people like Shang-Chi. We should have got a Shang-Chi 2, probably. Really right? And then you continue to layer these characters into these films. So when we get an Avengers, we go, oh my gosh, look at all these characters I know and love that I've seen over these years. This is great. That's the thing that they haven't done over these last couple of years that I feel like have kind of lost us as fans. Also, the quality is also kind of taken.
The quality's been there. Look, there's been all kinds of pressures, right? There was pressures to have more diverse characters, which is good, but I do really honestly think, and this is just not with Marvel, I think this is with a lot of companies. I think they thought the diversity itself was enough for people. I really do. I think that people were like, hey, there's no Asian representation in Marvel. They go, okay, we'll give you Shang-Chi and be happy. It's like, there's not enough women in Marvel. Okay, we'll give you some ladies and be happy. There's not enough black women in Marvel. Okay, we'll give you some black women. You'll be happy. I think what they found out was that people always are going to want diversity. They're always going to want stories that come from a lot of different places, but that's not going to be the thing that is going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. You need
a good movie.
You have to take care of those characters.
Black Panther, and to a lesser extent, but still, I put this Wonder Woman are good movies.
Yeah.
They are not good movies because of the representation. But the representation adds to the fact that it's like when you watch that movie, you're like, oh, somebody had a vision. They're taking care of this world. I feel seen. I think they thought when they was doing Marvels, they're like, hey, yo, you like Captain Marvel? We're going to put 2 more Marvels in there. And I'm like, that's not going to move the people like that if the movie sucks.
Right. And also you got to give the creators in that situation an opportunity to cook. All right. So before we get to the ranking and to the midnight meter, it's looking like this bitch about to go crazy.
Yeah. All right, so I could not find anywhere that I necessarily trusted that said this movie is going to do 800 million. I know that graphic is. I would not be surprised if it did.
800 worldwide in one weekend would be nuts, bro.
It might
insane.
though.
Well, the last one did what? 635 in one weekend.
So I have the numbers for just domestic. Deadline is reporting that this movie will make between 180 190 million domestically. Box Office Pro is at 230 to 250 million. 250
It would be nuts.
Domestic.
Yeah, in the first weekend would be crazy. And then
but how is it getting that how is it getting to 800 then? Globally? So it's going to be
600 will have to go 600 global. Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not
Spider-Man's got global appeal.
It might
all going to depend on China as far as that number is concerned and how it opens over there. But like it 800 would be nuts.
I think it could do it.
800 puts the movie. The reviews are gonna be pretty good on it, I would say. Like, where is it sitting right now? Not Rotten Tomatoes. Probably like it's gonna probably finish like 85%. The movie is gonna be a well-reviewed movie because it's a really, really good movie.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a crowd pleaser.
I think
people will be happy with this.
I don't think we've had like our nitpicks. We've talked about like stuff we did, like, you know.
I thought it was mostly perfect.
I love this movie.
People-
Like,
people are
I
gonna
love
love
this
this movie.
I'll be
It's
honest
great.
with you. I know that people have nitpicks, and that's cool. I thought the movie like struck all the right chords, but I can understand, people have opinions.
Emotionally, action, the characters. This movie does so many things so well at such a high level that even if you're like, I don't really like the stuff that it nails everything that it needs to.
So all right, let's do it real quick. Let's do a top 3. Does this make your top 3 Spider-Man movies? Do we want to do live action and Spider-Verse or just live
It's
action?
just live
It's
action.
live action.
Just
Yeah,
live
it does
action.
make my top 3.
It would have to.
I think Spider-Man 2 is still number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this might be number 2.
Wow, you think this is
Wow.
better than the original Spider-Man movie?
Say your piece. Say your piece.
All right, no, I'll put Spider-Man 2, the
Stand back. Stand
original
on it.
Spider-Man, and this one.
So what I would say is I put Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 as a dead heat tie, basically. to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would put this second. But if I had to rank them, and I couldn't use those two movies as a tie, because I really do put those movies as almost exactly the same quality.
Yeah.
I know people prefer Spider-Man 2 to Spider-Man 1. I don't really think that there's a difference. Honestly, I think Spider-Man 1's slightly better. to be honest.
Understandable.
But
Honestly.
I think Spider-Man 1's slightly
we,
better.
we,
I'm
we
not
were-
even going to argue because
Yeah.
I think there's probably more. Because like Spider-Man 2 got the train.
Spider-Man
scene.
2 got
we,
that train
we were at
scene.
Margaritaville,
It said
and it was on the screen when we were
And we
just
were
eating
going-
wings
I
and
just-
talking.
I think
and
we were about
just
to leave, and I was like,
watching that
"Whoa, let me
movie.
just watch the whole train sequence."
We got to. I mean, not to interrupt the rankings, but remember, we got to do. I don't know if it's a draft or a ranking or whatever. We got to do the episode where we talk about like memorable movie moments from superhero
Best
movies.
superhero movie moments,
Yeah.
the train
Because
sequence. So yeah, it's to
That's
me, it's Spider-Man
legitimately-
2, Spider-Man 1, and then I'm slotting this one in at number 3.
Yeah, I think there's because I think the thing for me, I think those are clearly the best 3 movies, but are Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 a tier above this movie? And honestly, I don't know. I don't think so.
I
I don't like on first viewing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. On first viewing, I could almost make a 3-way tie. On first viewing, I don't think so. Those movies are so iconic, though. On first
Yeah.
viewing, though, I don't think so.
It doesn't have a Willem Dafoe performance. It
That's
doesn't.
probably the thing.
Alfred
Yeah.
Molina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with Charles's ranking. But I also kind of agree with yours, where I'm like, if S or S plus is Spider-Man 1 or 2, I would put this at like A, the highest of
Yeah.
A tiers.
This is definitely like a top 3 Spider-Man movie. I would probably put Spider-Man 2 1. I'd probably put Spider-Man 1 at 2, and then put this at 3. But it's not far away.
Why do you think Homecoming is not there? Because like to me, Homecoming has been the best Tom Holland one. What do you think it is about this movie that just
It's
makes it
just
better than Homecoming?
deeper and richer in every way. It
Mhm.
looks better. The fights are better. I think Homecoming has a better villain if you're looking at Vulture's a great villain.
Yeah.
But I think this is more of a movie about the character for Nick. It's a more mature take. It's a more serious movie. It's funny. It's got emotion. It's got heart. It's got all of that. It's just a better movie than Homecoming to me in every respect.
I agree. Tom Holland, that motherfucker killed it. Now,
Nailed it.
before we get to our rankings, my last question for y'all is, I think we are almost guaranteed that we are going to get 2 more Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
If he wants to do them.
No,
wants to
But
do
no,
that.
he said that he'll do it forever.
Okay.
But even Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal, I've been on the road promoting, and they say, like, obviously Miles Morales is coming. So do you think the next movie is going to be Venom introducing Miles, and maybe the third movie is like the baton pass?
You know what the funny thing is, bro? Maybe, but if you're going to introduce Miles Morales, you might want to let him get a little older. Like, we might be clamoring for Miles Morales, but they might
Right.
think we do Miles Morales when he's like 35 so we can kill Peter Parker.
I think that's
Like,
the
you
baton
know,
pass.
you know what I
for-
mean?
yeah.
Like the
Hey,
original
man.
comics where in the Ultimate Comics,
Nah.
Peter dies and then Miles takes over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. Look, here's the deal. Like, Tom Holland is the Peter Parker of this world, right? So if you do perpetual Peter Parker forever and you replace him with somebody else, that's one thing you could do that. But if you're going to bring Miles Morales in, the most natural way to do it would be to kill Peter Parker, bring Miles Morales in, let Miles Morales cook. Think about it. You kill Peter Parker, you have like an older MJ that Miles Morales that might still be around and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You could really deepen the world if you take the swing.
Yeah.
And then after Miles Morales run is over, you reboot Peter Parker at some point down the line.
No man.
Death of Spider-Man movie would be
nuts.
nuts.
If they were
That's
really
crazy.
if they were really about it, they would have done that here. Because now you can't do it. Because the math in that universe is because that's the ultimate universe, right? Where Peter Parker dies and then Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man. And then when Secret Wars happens, they merge universes. So Earth 616 merges with the Ultimate Universe, and Miles Morales, because he gives a cheeseburger, a hamburger to Mole Man, or Molecular Man. Sorry,
Molecule Man.
Molecule Man. Can't say
Mole
my
Man,
names.
Molecular
Mole
Man. It's all the same thing.
Gives him a hamburger, and he's like, "Oh, cool! You can come and enjoy this universe with everybody." And then he gets his Peter Parker. Now Miles and Peter Parker share universe. We could have done that. I don't know if you kill Peter Parker, but I do think there is a world where you get to Secret Wars and Miles is there, or for whatever reason, when they merge those timelines, we see a Miles with Peter, and I think like him teaching him to be Spider-Man would be cool.
But also, I just thought of this. Hey, Fantastic Four ain't do what they wanted it. Do you think they might do the Jonathan Hickman run where Spider-Man officially joins the Fantastic Four? So you kind of get you get that bump with that franchise where they're like, hey, yo.
Let me say something right now, man. I'll say something right now. If I go to any movie theater and it's the Fantastic Four sharing the screen with Spider-Man, I myself will spend $1 billion. I need that. I need that.
I'm telling you, they're going to give Spider-Man the same Tony Stark arc.
Yep.
And you're going to say goodbye. And it's going to be tough.
Motherfuckers going to cry.
Motherfuckers going to cry.
Can't die again, man.
Everybody it's going to be the same.
Spider-Man going to be holding in his arm. No.
Either that or he rides off into the sunset. He retires. He gets depowered or something like that. But
then they got to kill him.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how they do the Miles Morales thing. And we'll also see just,
all right,
how the business side of it and all of this stuff works out.
All right, man.
Because Sony might want to hold on to Miles Morales, or they might want to sell Spider-Man to Disney.
No, we were not talking about this at Margaritaville. If this shit makes $800 million first week, Sony like, you know what? We're just gonna keep this.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, 800. Like
they might. They're still not doing these movies as solo productions though. They weren't able to establish their world, and it's a heavy lift. I'm not speaking for Sony. It's a heavy lift to have to make these movies in the way that they have to make them. Think about it now. So they're still making the films, and they'll have Spider-Verse coming out, but then after that, they got to go again.
Mm-hmm.
They got to make one every couple of years.
Yeah.
Marvel is not going to be on a timeline to make a Spider-Man movie that quickly, and they've burned through all of the characters they made a Craven movie to keep this shit going. That's expensive when those movies don't make money. Craven, Madam Web, fucking
Morbius.
See, but like here's the thing: are all of those bombs worth the big payout of a big Spider-Man movie?
I mean,
just to kick the can down the road.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you're like with the way that they've renegotiated the business with Disney already, it's really the movie stuff more than anything else. And maybe you're breaking even, maybe you're making money. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you are with everything else but
there's money on the table, yeah.
But like, those are expensive movies, and you got to make them. You also have to hire those actors, and then you also have to take the prestige and the reputation hit that your studio takes by putting out bombs. Every single film that you put out during that year is a part of the studio's yearly bottom line. Like, yeah, sure, in this year you reap big benefits, right? But in the year that Morbius came out, or the year that fucking Madam Web came out, those movies hurt the bottom line of your studio.
True. Yeah.
So I'm sure you make it up on the back end and all kinds of stuff. It might not, they're never going to, I don't think that Sony's going to go and do a Spider-Man movie at a sole production without the MCU at this point.
Yeah. So, they still have Miles Morales.
They still have Miles Morales.
They might be like, fuck it. Like, and also, like, we all know this. Hey, yo, if I'm Sony, I'm just like, that Spider-Man game damn near like underwrites a bunch of those failures. Just because, like, when a new Spider-Man, like, it just, those are some of the biggest games of all time.
Yeah.
It's true.
They're selling consoles. Like, you have to think about it. Spider-Man to them at this point is like, he helps us sell hardware.
Yeah. What I would suggest people do is, because this is us going back and forth, but do the reading on it. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that's been written on why Sony might want to sell Spider-Man. Like do the reading on it. And obviously, Spider-Man is a profitable character for them. Them selling Spider-Man is essentially getting out of the superhero game.
Yeah.
Which this might honestly change that. But there is a world where they go $5 billion, $7 billion, we're done. And then, that's a shit ton of money.
Dog, that would
I don't
be
think
more than what
They paid for Star Wars.
Oh, it's going to at
and
least be
Marvel,
$5 billion bucks.
No, I'm agreeing with you
Yeah.
because here's the thing. Spider-Man and Batman as characters are honestly sometimes more important than their universe, just as singular characters in terms of like the money they can generate.
Yeah, but remember, Warner Brothers straight up owns Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can go right now. We not making another Batman movie for fucking 10 years until we get the right director. Now they still gonna make them bitches, right?
Sony has to.
Of
course
but
they will.
Sony has licensed this, so they gotta make Spider-Man stuff, or else it reverts back. And it has been recently, even with No Way Home, like a thorn in their side as far as that's concerned. But it would be something interesting to really do a deep dive on and talk to people about it, like what the deal with. All right, Midnight Meter, Chuck.
All right, y'all know what the Midnight Meter is. 1 is reserved for the worst. 11 and 12 is for true game changers. We'll start with you, Van. Where are you going?
11.
Ooh.
I gotta go 11 because of the box office. The box office is about to be so crazy that I gotta do 11. Now, I only gave the Odyssey a 10. I think.
I've had the
That
same
is, yeah,
thought.
that's
I
I
tough.
only
same
gave the
thought.
Odyssey a 10. But God damn it, it's me. It's Van.
This movie not better than the Odyssey.
To me, it is.
Hey, yo. All right.
Speak.
What you mean? To me, it is.
Speak. Wow,
It's not a better.
What?
Let me put it to you like this. And this is something that's interesting. We have to say. Number one, no. Is this movie a better? Is there better craftsmanship, filmmaking in this film? No. It's Christopher Nolan. It's the Odyssey. No. Is there better craft? No, it's not. Not at all. Not at all. But like, if you're asking me right now, I have one ticket to go back and see something. What am I gonna go back and see? This or the Odyssey? I'm going back to see Spider-Man again.
If somebody gives you an IMAX ticket to the Odyssey right now, you're like, I'd rather go see
Oh, you
Spider-Man.
flipped that on eBay,
I will go
$500.
back and see Spider-Man again. So what I'm telling you is I'm not gonna say that this is a better movie than the Odyssey. The Odyssey has the top of the industry, making it, producing it with a once in a generation auteur.
Yeah.
So everybody that's listening and willing to jump on that, like it's this big reveal, whatever. No, it's not better in that regard. It's not better. There's a lot of movies that this is not better than in that regard. Smaller movies that made 15. This movie is not better than City of God.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? It's
I
not,
get what you're saying.
yeah, it's not better. City of God is better. City of God is one of the best movies I've ever seen. But like, it is. It's not better than City of God. However, if you're telling me right now, what you want to go spend time in the movie theater is Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Jean Grey.
Yeah.
When it's done really, really, really well. So that's what I would say.
And also, I sometimes like this how I think of the Midnight Meter. There's a difference between like my Midnight Meter score and my Letterboxd score. The Midnight Meter to me is like a
vibes.
it's a fandom
Right.
ranking vibes where it's like I get what you're saying where it's like the Odyssey is a better movie. This is like it's a masterpiece. But if we're ranking it on fandoms, there is just like Kalika was making fun of me. She's like, I know you like this movie. Like, why? She's like, you clicking your heels at the I was just like, there's just something that
He's fighting the hand. He's like,
yeah. So, all right, Jomi, where are you going?
I'm also going to give it 11 with the caveat that my Odyssey ranking is going to
Subject to
change.
change,
It's-
yeah.
that's
Mulligans
This is
will
what
be
Mulligans is for,
reassessed.
bro.
Yeah.
It's going to be reassessed, but I got to give. This movie was incredible. I don't want to say I don't want to get too crazy, but like so much fun in theater, seeing all these things on screen happen, the emotions, the arcs, like everything came together in a package that like, again, we talked about it's 2:30. It don't feel like 2:30, man. The movie is moving, the movie is grooving. Had a blast, man. It's 11 for me.
I will give this a 10. I enjoyed this a lot. I was wildly impressed with the things that it was attempting to do and pulled off. I had quibbles, but again, like the theater going experience negates anything that I could ever possibly have wrong with it.
Yeah, honestly, like if to me Spider-Man 1 and 2 are like 12s, and I walked out of this movie being like, this is an instant 12, then I slept on it.
That was funny.
But no, that's how I think that's what these movies at their height can do, where they just transport you and they talk to just like that child in you. So I can't give it a 12 yet. This is what Mulligans is for at the end of the year. But I'm going to follow Steve and give it like a really, really strong 10. I just have to I have to watch it another time before I can really call it a game changer. But you said that, I think it's the first thing you said to me after we saw it, which is like, this is the best that they could do with this version of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's the best they could have done.
Like, that is not this is the fourth Spider-Man movie as Tom Holland in what? Live action, this is ninth?
Yeah.
They got really close. I think this is a 10. I love this movie so much.
All right, guys. This is a jumbo-packed episode surrounding Spider-Man Brand New Day. No more at home stuff. We're out of the house. Spider-Man is out of the house.
It's going to be day.
Spider-Man, jump out the house.
That's going to be, everything's going to be day.
Everything's going to be
Spider-Man
day.
day after tomorrow. Next Spider-Man.
Day after tomorrow.
Spider-Man Friday after next.
Spider-Man
Let's
Friday
get
after
Jake,
next.
we can bring Jake Gyllenhaal back.
Jake Gyllenhaal back. Because they did
Dennis
have Day-Day.
Quaid.
They had Day-Day and Madam Web. He was in it.
Spider-Man Day.
Spider-Man Day-Day. Put Day-Day in it. Spider-Man next day. Next every day. Spider-Man Day of Time. All right. Stay tapped in to Talk to Thrones every Sunday. Every Monday, the Midnight Boys are giving you their House of the Dragon reactions. Every Monday. Season's heating up. It's almost over. It's almost over.
We're almost there.
Dog, wait, we have 2 more episodes left?
Two more episodes.
One more left.
God damn.
Then after that, you know what we get into, right? Lanterns, nigga. How about lanterns? How about we excited for lanterns? Can't wait for lanterns. Motherfucking lanterns is going crazy. Lanterns, bitch. I'm so excited about lanterns. I'll fucking knock this whole I'll knock all these cameras over. I'll kick everything down. I'll set this whole place on fire. Okay. Our producers today are Aleya Zenieris, Jacob Cornett, Devon Baroldi, Jomi Adeniran on social. # mind control Dirty Mac.
Ooh. Jomi is a dirty macker.
He is a dirty Mac.
Yeah.
That is true.
Those days are long past.
Now you do it. We've seen it. Additional production from Arjuna Ramgopowell. Chuck, take us out.
Brand New Day was a blast. That Spidey merch is flying off shelves. And I do think at Midnight Mulligans, this might be a 12.